Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to also make a contribution on this bill on the Air Passenger Service Charter. Madam Speaker, this has always existed. This fund has always existed, and it has always been shared out. But previously, it was shared out amongst three institutions. And so what has happened is that within the bill, one of the institutions has changed, the one for tourism, because these air passengers, when they make payments, one of the areas, critical areas that we want to support is the tourism sector. So basically, the money was going to the tourism promotion fund, but the new proposal is that it goes to the tourism fund, which is more central, so that it can be able to be used properly for purposes of dealing with the tourism industry. Madam Speaker, the other new one that has been introduced is the Kenya Meteorological Service Authority. The Met Department, Madam Speaker, is very, very critical in air transport, because every time before any plane takes off, they must give a report, they must check the weather patterns, they must check whether there will be anything that can affect the aeroplanes. And therefore, it is one of those institutions that are critical in air travel. And therefore, it didn't even make sense that they were not being supported by the sector. So this is a very, very, very important adjustment. So I think it's important that we are able to now using part of this fund support the Met Department. Madam Speaker, the other two that were already there, the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, basically requires this money so that they can improve the industry. And finally, the Kenya Airports Authority requires this money so that they can be able to also improve the facilities at the airports. Madam Speaker, it is out of these funds that we are supposed to ensure that we provide enough money slowly over the period when more and more people travel through our airplanes, that we are able to develop enough money to be able to even build an airport. Madam Speaker, I'm saying this because we have seen attempts in the recent past where there was an attempt to almost privatize our airports. And I think it's important that we use the monies that are available from our air tickets so that we can be able to build enough capital so that we can be able to start doing a new wing for our airport. Madam Speaker, some of these installations are so critical that we must ensure that the government has some say. You cannot allow certain critical infrastructure to be in the hands of private investors. And Madam Speaker, that's why I'm also concerned that we are hearing reports in the corridors of power that even the Kenya Pipeline Corporation is about to be also given to private investors. Madam Speaker, what kind of a country would we be if our distribution of energy is through private hands, if our distribution of fuel is through private hands, if our airports are in the hands of private investors? That means that someone outside government can be running this country, Madam Speaker. So I want to say that this regime must stop these games of taking control of critical infrastructure that belongs to Kenyan people, so that we can ensure that the money that we have and we pay as taxes is the money that is used to be able to develop our infrastructure, not private individuals, so that we do not lose the essence of what we call governance. So, Madam Speaker, with those remarks, I think it's important that this money is shared fairly and that we be able to develop our industry for the tourism industry, the air travel industry, so that Kenya can prosper as a nation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Kiamba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support this bill. But I also want to maybe state 2 or 3 things, because I've been a vice chair of that committee for the longest time. And I totally support, because also there is a suggestion of the merger of the TPF and Tourism Fund. But I also want to tell the Leader of Majority, because I know he's the sponsor of the bill, that as we also prepare to take the biggest chunk of the money to Tourism Fund, we must also put into consideration the role that probably the policies that the Tourism Fund has been doing. It cannot be able, to support any other institutions, especially in terms of promoting tourism. But the TPF was able to do that. It was the one that was funding KTB, Kenya Tourism Board. It was, sponsoring the Magical Kenya. It was sponsoring some projects in KWS and other institutions. So as we also support the Tourism Fund, it will be prudent for us to make sure that we also give them some leeway, maybe a year or two before they wind up and join the tourism fund, because they already have existing projects that they have been sponsoring. So once we deny them the opportunity of getting that money that they have been getting, what becomes of those projects? Those projects will become ghost projects. They have been funding Ronan Gara, funding Kenya Wildlife Service. They have been funding wildlife, other institutions within the tourism sector. So it is very, very important for us to make sure that as we release the funds to the tourism fund, there is enough policy to support other tourism activities beyond whatever tourism fund has been able to do. And we know, because now they're the one who are in charge of Lawn and Gara and probably sponsorship of Bombers of Kenya, we also make sure that other related tourism activities have enough funds to continue attracting tourists within our Republic of Kenya, and also to make sure that they continue marketing Kenya as a tourist destination, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker. So I support, but I will also urge, as we see the proposal that will be brought in the floor of the House by the committee, we also make sure that as we prepare to merge the two institutions, we have also given them some time frame to complete the ongoing projects in terms of project that they have been sponsoring. Since now, once this bill has been assent by the president, it will deny them of any funds to make sure that they support other existing or ongoing projects. So there must be a transitions clause, probably in the third leading, or we would support in the third leading, to make sure that they complete all the ongoing projects before they wind up and they merge between tourism and tourism promotion fund. So therefore, Madam Speaker, we are supporting, but wait to see the amendments that probably will be brought by the committee. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Makueni.